Patriots Postgame Show presented by Cybereason with Hardy, Mike Dussault, and Paul Perillo is your source for all the news and information following every Patriots game.
Shotgun snap to Mac Jones. Fires to the end zone. Caught at the goal line. It's a touchdown for Hunter Henry as the Patriots add to their lead.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Slipping and sliding, he was like a cat. Pop, pop, bang. Welcome into the Patriots Postgame Show presented by Cybereason, where the Patriots beat the Jets 10-3 thanks to Marcus Jones, an 84-yard punt return for a touchdown with 5 seconds left in the game. This was headed toward overtime. This was going to be a conversation about how we should have spent our Sunday. What should we have done other than sitting through 3 hours and 10 minutes of a football game that was going to result and to Tamara Brown's credit, she said some point early on in the second half, is this game going to end in a tie? And at that point it was 3-3, and it looked like no team was going to be able to put points on the board today, and it was going to go into overtime and end in a 3-3 tie. And she asked early on, and you kind of scoff at it, and it was a real possibility until the New York Jets decided to make some very puzzling decisions down the stretch, and some puzzling decisions on both sides of the ball down the stretch. But the New York Jets electing to call a timeout, run a play that had no hope of extending their drive, and punting the ball, giving the Patriots enough time to look. They didn't even need to run the ball back for a touchdown. There would have been enough time on the clock to put Nick Folk in field goal range and actually win the game that way in regulation based on how the game ended. But we've got so much to get to in just the last 2 minutes of that game. There is practically nothing to talk about throughout first 58 minutes of clock, and then the last 2 minutes, we are here to break it down here for you on the Patriots Postgame Show presented by Cybereason. Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo now joining us here in studio. As you can imagine, we were all in our seats until the last possible moment, and I had the benefit of being 2 floors lower than these guys, so I was able to make it down here first. So, welcome in, Deuce. What a finish to that game! What an absolute exercise in futility for 3 hours, followed by 20 seconds of sheer pandemonium.
Right? Oh my gosh, what the heck just happened? I'm still in shock right now. I mean, you're expecting we're going to overtime, and then all of a sudden, Marcus Jones. I mean, that's what they drafted him to do. Had to leave the game briefly with an ankle injury. Came back, so I guess the legend of Marcus Jones who will continue to grow. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much there is to dissect overall from the game. Credit to the defense, offense. We'll get into, I'm sure, but. Hey, defense and special teams, they did it again for you. Well,
one of the bads in there I had originally written down was when the Patriots had to call a timeout because they didn't have anyone back to receive the punt. But, as it turns out, it was because Marcus Jones was slow to leave the field, and he wasn't able to get out there, and he wasn't – okay, so, I mean, all these things, they somehow come to – come to the same point, and they all ended up leading to the same thing, which was just a crazy wild play at the end, a crazy decision from the Jets, I think, toward the end of that game, and the result is both teams come out of this game at 6-4, with the Patriots holding the tiebreaker, of course, after beating the Jets in both their meetings this season. Paul, I don't know what you thought for the first 3 hours of that game, but
just terrible football.
I was just thinking about other things I wish I would have been doing. I have a couple of socks sitting at home that I could go and maybe try and find the matches for those socks.
You got lucky that you missed the Colts game.
Which one was worse?
This was worse than the Colts game.
Okay, well, I don't feel all that lucky, except the result. Wow, the excitement at the end of that game kind of made it worth it. We'll see what you think here. 855-PATS-500 in the email.
Oh, yeah, I got to get another look at this here. We're playing it on the screen. So we cut about the 16. Then it was
and there was
the cutback. The cutback was, Yeah, that was it.
There was one play here at the end that I think the Pats may have gotten away with.
Can you imagine blocking the back?
Oh, please.
No, okay. No, I didn't think they were going to.
I can't believe they called
flag.
holding on the third down before that. Like, the
Is
way
that
that game was going.
Yeah.
Are you surprised at all, though, that the flag – could the flag have come out here?
It's a blatant
close.
block in the back. I didn't see that live.
So you're saying that could
But the game was over anyway. I mean,
He
he's going to
wasn't
kick a
gonna get
10-yard field goal and win.
And that was the
Ah,
point I
that's-
had made. Thanks
that's
to
the point, Paul.
Thanks to the Jets calling timeout before they ran their last play from scrimmage. What they called a time, or did they?
No, the Patriots did.
The Patriots called the timeout.
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was the Jets timeout. Well, let's get into it. Good, bad, injured. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into it? It was a terrible
It's just a
football
terrible game to watch.
It was a terrible game to watch, a terrible game to witness.
Hey.
Started
defense.
off with a 10-minute delay and got worse from there.
That is true.
That's when there was still hope. That was the most exciting part of the game. The first 10 minutes when they didn't actually play, and the last 10 seconds. That's it. Those were the two best parts of the game. Let's get into it here.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
You all right, guy?
Before we get into the good, the bad, and the injured, let's speak with Davon Godchaux, who's joining us now from the locker room. I'm sure you guys went from being in foul moods to fantastic moods, Davon. Congratulations on the win.
I appreciate it. It feels so good. It feels so good to, always get a win in your division. That count as two. The Jets have a really good team. They've been playing really good. Big win against Buffalo, but it feels good to come out with a win today.
Hey, Davon, I just got to ask you, what are things like right now for rookie Marcus Jones there in the locker room? I imagine you guys are all over him.
He's been due for one. This guy, he's going to be special. He's going to be very special. I'm not just saying that because he returned the punt, but he's been due for one. If you look at the games, he's been due to break one. He's going to be special. He's very dynamic. I'm excited to see him over the years.
Devon, what can you talk about the run defense today? Obviously, the Jets wanted to play it close to the vest and play field position and do all those kinds of conservative things, but you just wouldn't allow it all day. What was the key to your success up front?
We know the Jets wanted to run the ball. They ran the ball. They tried to run the ball and make easy completions against Buffalo, the Buffalo game. The last time they played us, the quarterback threw a couple picks, so we knew they wanted to come out and run the ball. So we wanted to come out and stop them. That's my job. That's a lot of guys' job in D-line. Don't get all the accolades, the double teams, and all that. You don't see that on the stat sheet, but when you watch the game, you see it. So we just wanted to come out and stop it.
Do you have to guard against being impatient in a game like that when you're kind of waiting for something to happen? You're standing in the sidelines. You're waiting for your offense to kind of pull ahead. Do you have to be careful not to get over-aggressive when you get back out on the field and try and get another stop?
Yeah, it really didn't matter. I mean, we could have got one pick. It really didn't matter. Whatever we would have got, one field goal. I meant to say one field goal, two field goals. It didn't matter. We just know the score was tied 3-3. We wasn't allowed to let them score or get a field goal. So, kind of didn't even let them, cross the 50-yard line. Our defense played pretty good today, and they mostly ran the ball. We know they want to try to run the ball, so we know we had to stop the run. So, that's why they brought guys like me here.
Davon, what's now on tap? I mean, you got a quick turnaround to the Vikings in a few short days. I mean, how can you build with this energy just coming off the field with a big win like that, carry that into Thursday?
24 hours, just, clear out your mind. We're going to watch it tomorrow. I'm actually going to try to go home and watch some of the Minnesota game. Team is playing pretty high, playing pretty good. We got to make sure we come out and start fast on all three phases. This team have a lot of confidence. They're playing pretty good. Got a very good offense, very good receivers, very good running back. So we want to make sure we come out and start fast. We're going to watch this game, get the corrections, and move on to Minnesota.
All right, Davon, like Deuce just said, you got a short week, so we'll let you go. Congratulations on the win.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. There he goes. Davon Godchaux, whose defensive unit did their job today, holding the Jets to, I think, 104?
103, I think 103 yards of total offense.
Just over 100 yards in total offense.
59 yards rushing, 2.6 per carry. Zach Wilson was 9 of 22 for 77 yards.
All right, so there we go. We would like to thank Microsoft and Microsoft Surface, specifically the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots, provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the powerful Surface Pro 8, combining the power of a laptop with the flexibility of a tablet at surface.com. Whew! All right. Now we can get into the good, the bad, and the injury.
Without worrying about someone calling in.
Now we play some football. Well, I mean, had he called in during the good, what else? I mean, there's a few good things to talk about, but it's defense doing their job today, Deuce. I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I was going to throw Marcus Jones on there, just the obvious one for the big play at the end. But
That's all I got.
but let's start with the defense. I mean, I think they allowed one first down after the half, so they just refused to let the team down, and they had to today again. I think Godchaux, Guy, all those guys up front were just really strong and stout, and it's a continuation of how they've been playing against these teams. Now, that said, great performance. Now the stage is set. Now you got legit offense in Minnesota and then Buffalo coming up. So, but hey, you got to give them credit. The yardage speaks for itself. 100 yards. I mean, that's they shut the Jets down completely, and for a large part. I mean, if they weren't able to come through with a punt, one play could have changed it really quick. So they were able to get those stops. I was a little nervous down the end, but yeah, they shut them down.
I think just defensively, and obviously it's gonna start and end with Marcus Jones. I mean, the biggest play of the game, and the truly the only big play of the game that just obviously changed anything in the whole tone of the day and the whole tone of the game. But I'll give it up to the defense first. Paul, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean the run defense was outstanding. I also thought the timely nature of some of the pressure in the second half, especially. They didn't get much in the first half, but I thought they kind of adjusted their pass rush where Wilson got free a couple of times for some scrambles. And in the second half, I thought they did a better job of containing him while getting after him. So, I mean, defensively, Jonathan Jones, I thought, was a standout in coverage. I mean, I know they weren't pressured because of the nature of the game. They weren't throwing. They couldn't sustain any offense. But Jonathan Jones was one that stood out to me in the run defense.
All right, I will give credit to the first offensive player, I guess, and just in order, starting with Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, your offense came from, two running backs today, essentially, and of course one huge special teams play. But I had Ramondre Stevenson down early as something that looked better than everything else out there. How's that?
Yeah, well, the 3rd and 16 run that he just powered through 5 tackles, I think, to get the first down. I mean, that was what Ramondre's been doing all year long. And I think there were a couple plays where there were some holes, but largely I think the guys had to get everything they earned for. Damian Harris had a nice big run too, but handful of offensive plays probably that we can hand out some acknowledgement to. But that's probably about it.
Offensively, if we're going to do this, it's individual plays. It's the 3rd and 18 pass that Stevenson broke 4 tackles on to get a first down. It's 2 runs by Damian Harris, 1 for 22 and 1 for 30 yards. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson had 15 carries for 26 yards in this game.
Horrific.
1.7 yards a game. And it wasn't on Stevenson. I mean, that's not on Stevenson.
No, but
Damian Harris had 8 for 65, 2 big runs, 30 and 22 yards. We're talking about individual plays offensively, right? Because there was nothing.
No, and for Stevenson, it was it was like Deuce just said, it was a reception, and it was all run, one reception. But the point is, and what we're going to keep going back to is that they couldn't do anything with their good fortune. If they did convert on a 3rd and long, they couldn't do anything with it.
They didn't even get any points out of that.
Yeah, they were granted outstanding field position time and time again and couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm sure we'll talk plenty about this, but I mean, I thought, individually they had some good plays, some good drives. I thought Mac had, looked a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. I thought he delivered some balls that we haven't really seen him deliver this year, but as they got closer to the red zone, all of a sudden things just started falling apart, and you're taking penalties, you're making negative plays, you're taking sacks, and then you're moving backwards. So, there were some little pieces there where you're like, there's a play that looks, I think more than I've probably seen, but the negative plays continue to be there. I saw a stat at the end that was, the Patriots had 10 negative plays to the Jets 8. So they continue to go backwards. They continue to take penalties, and, we can talk about the injuries.
I missed one. I was counting. I only had 9. I missed one.
Mac was 23 of 27 for 246
yards. Ultimate plastic stat game of all games, because Mike just hit it. they would make, and we're seeing the highlights now, they would make a play. Damian Harris would go 30 yards. They would get down in position to get points, and he would take a sack. He did it like 3 times. Yeah. Like, you can't take a sack when you're on the edge of field goal range in a game that the wind was definitely a factor at that end of the stadium. And he got sacked 6 times today. He wasn't under attack. It wasn't like free runaway guys. Like, there were times that he was standing back there with plenty of time. They couldn't sustain anything offensively. If the Patriots, I'll rephrase that instead of saying if the Jets weren't so inept. If the Patriots defense wasn't so dominant, you'd look at this as one of the worst offensive games you ever saw by the Patriots. I mean, 4 for 15 on third down, 13 first downs in the game, 297 total yards. That's like the 5th game in a row they've been under 300 yards of total offense. That's pathetic. Now, in comparison to the Jets, it's not so bad. But they couldn't do a thing offensively in this game. And, again, it was just some individual plays. And I would throw Jonnu Smith in there, who made a couple of individual plays. But even on one of his, I think that they had a little jet sweep. I think that might have been a touchdown, and he dropped the ball.
Well, that was my first good that I had was Jonnu Smith's fumble recovery. But you have to immediately counter it with that was the ghost of somebody who forced the fumble.
He's switching hands for no apparent reason on that play. I didn't get it.
Zoe talked about it on the broadcast. He said, look, it's cold out there. He said, and he grabbed one of the footballs during warm-ups. He's like, they're slick. It's also not the first rodeo for these guys. They've played football in cold weather before.
Right.
They know what this is like. And you just can't. He's wearing gloves. I mean, it's like there's
but it was a good play to get the ball back, and that's how you ultimately. Otherwise, you probably lose the game.
Yeah, it's a.
You probably lose 3-0 because that's where they got their field goal after that.
God, that's right.
And they ain't punting the ball if they're up 3-0 there. They're not doing that. They punt the ball out of bounds.
It was a fantastic recovery, but you immediately have to counter it with well why how did he fumble it? Well, he just dropped the ball.
Yeah, he was switching hands, and I don't really understand why. But I did think he made a couple of plays, and I thought as a good, I thought there was a little bit more creativity offensively today at times. A little bit more play action, a little bit more under center.
Throwing on first down.
Throwing on early downs. And now it didn't always work. The first down, first play of the game, they get sacked on first down. So
the play action that they ran on Hunter Henry's reception.
Henry had one.
And I say
Jonnu had one.
Yeah, singularly, his one reception today was the result. It was great play action and good work by Mac, but
I could put all 11 guys on defense on the good list. I'm sorry, I'm hard pressed to get anybody on offense on it. It was bad. I know the Jets have a good defense too, just like the Patriots did, but you got to move the ball. I
put Harris on there too, just because
Harris belongs.
Yeah,
that's it.
8 for 65, solid day.
I mean, I don't want to, just hand out bouquets to the defense, but I would highlight Judon and Wise kind of together.
I had Wise. I thought Wise was really good today.
Yeah, I just those guys coming through in some big moments. Mac Wilson as well, a couple key kind of moments.
Mac Wilson was good too. Yeah, I agree.
I'll put Davon Godchaux on there too, just because it was a great phone call. I thought it was really good phone call.
Yeah, he was happy. They won.
So let's give him an honorary good list today.
I don't even think. I mean, I think he gets on there for his play. I thought he was good up front too. So, but otherwise, I would just say though, generally, I just think it's the team defense. And as much as you want to highlight individual guys, I think that they're playing well together. The coverage is playing well. I mean, you had the one 34-yarder that Jack Jones didn't really turn around and look. The other guy stopped. But other than that, they really didn't give up much of anything today, and they're playing well. But like I said. Now I want to see it against the Vikings. I want to see it against the Bills. What does it look like in the next couple weeks?
Okay, let's just hold on.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. Let's just get through the goods, the bads, and the injuries.
No, I know. I'm telling you, you really want to see what it looks like. You want to see what it looks like.
I want to get hurt again. I want to get hurt.
I don't know that I'm quite ready to say that. Yes, I am eagerly anticipating how they look against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday night. I can't say that.
Why are you saying that? You're saying that because you think they're going to get rolled by the Vikings, or you think the Vikings are overrated and that they'll be fine? I'm not sure which angle you're coming at it from.
The first.
That they're going to get rolled. So you have no false sense of security at all with this defense. You think they're paper champions right now.
Well, I think Minnesota, even if you play against a very good defense, I think Minnesota can still score 10 points, 13 points, you know?
Ooh, that is
okay.
That is true.
And
It's
I
not
don't
a high bar right
and
now,
I
is it?
don't know that you can score
Yeah,
more than that.
yeah.
And I know the front seven for the Jets is fantastic, but I mean, you want to talk about like a conditions game, and it was cold, it was a little windy. It wasn't that bad out there. It really
wasn't that level of offense bad.
No.
I agree with you.
Well,
No,
that was
where-
like Buffalo offense last year, right? I mean, that's
That
about what they
looked-
did
I
last
mean, they
year.
played that game like it was in Buffalo last year with 40-mile-an-hour cross-field sustained winds. That wasn't that. That was a November football game. That's all that was.
Yeah.
So I am not looking forward to how this team looks against a very good football team in the Minnesota Vikings. Not quite there yet.
No, all right.
Ask me after a
the
couple of
game?
days. No.
Like I'm not interested in watching like until they have an offense that's like yeah, you could play defense and win. You can win games like this, sure. The defense played great, but I don't want to watch that. I don't know who wants to watch games like that.
How much do you want to like get into the bad list? I mean, it's going to be entire groups. It's going to be certain plays. It's going to be a lot. I mean, do you want to focus in on things now, or should we just leave it for the entirety of the post game? Because I got to tell you, as good as you need to feel, and I'm not going to qualify the win. It's a win, and you're 6-4, and you took care of business. But man,
this
there's
is
a
like
lot of
part
stuff
of what I was saying. You know, like no style points from before. I need to see the game first. Like
That was a good
bad.
call by you.
That's bad.
Can we just start with the offensive line and
Yeah.
just spend a moment talking about the offensive line? I know they lost Andrews early on, but even with Andrews in, it did not look good. The first play of the game, you allow your quarterback to be sacked. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Wynn goes out too, and then I don't know what's going on with Trent Brown. I saw some online speculation that he was maybe sick, but that kind of came out of nowhere. He was then put in. Both tackles had rough times. I mean, there were a couple of times it felt like they were coming around the corner and meeting at the quarterback. It's just it's going to get Mac hurt first of all, but I mean they can't really do anything, and I think the thing that's hard is that I saw moments of Mac kind of being comfortable in the pocket, and then you see that's like, all right, there's some time there, but it's tough, and then you wonder what's going to happen now. Is Andrews out? Thigh injury. What does that mean? And his Win out. So, you might be looking at Yadni Kajust and James Ferentz for the immediate future. Certainly with a quick turnaround in 3 days. That's going to be a big storyline this week.
I was afraid the way he stood up, the way Andrews stood up on that, like he had broken his femur. I mean, it looked like, something really. Now, it's hard to imagine a guy that tough getting like a deep bone bruise or something like that, and him, unable to walk off the field under his own power. He did go down the stairs into the locker room under his own power, but that's David Andrews. That is a guy who's like, no, I'm not getting on any cart and being taken off the field that way. But I don't know what that injury could be. It's
we were doing our speculating up there, but at first you're hoping it's like just a Charlie horse, but he was really, really hurting.
Yeah, when they declared him out, I started thinking real bad stuff.
Yeah. So, all right. What else do you want to focus in on? What do you have on your bad list that is really stuck in your craw you need to get out?
I mean, I already said the thing about just how frustrating it was when they'd string a couple plays together and get close to the red zone, and then all of a sudden it was like magnets. Like you flip the magnets around and they start to get close, and there was this force pushing them back away from the red zone. It's just the execution and the overall focus of the team as they get close to the end zone. I mean, they didn't score a touchdown today. There's little reason to see why you think they're making strides in that area. I do like some of the things they did on offense, but the red zone and the execution when they get close to the red zone remains a mess.
Hi.
Boss man Fred Kurtz joining us now on the post game. What's up there, Fred?
Oh, just that game was like those Twitter videos you see and it says wait for the end. That's the way this game was.
Yeah. We're not going to focus a whole lot, I don't think, on the bad list. We took care of the very short good list. We're going to talk about, the way things went during the game. But, I mean, obviously the offense is a big concern right now and how they're going to be able to match up defensively. We'll give them credit where it's due. But offensively, if you're not able to move the ball effectively and you're not able to protect your quarterback, I'll take the win. I'll absolutely take the position they put themselves in, but it makes you wonder how things are going to look here in the coming weeks, especially when they got to get back on the field in a few short days, and then not long after that.
You knew things were not going to be perfect when you saw Godchaux starting and Wynn starting and Trent Brown not starting. And you're like, well, what's going on? You know?
We're trying to figure out exactly what the level of health is for some of these guys, but this is a conversation we've had with a lot of these guys in the game. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we're doing any excuse making, because it hasn't mattered a whole lot personnel-wise who has been in during the year. There are times when everybody has done
the
poorly.
whole offense is out of sync. It goes from the coaching on down. And I don't know, like, if you talked about it, but I was really upset when they decided to go for it on 4th and 3.
That's my biggest thing on the bad list. I haven't
gotten to. You kick a field goal in a game like this.
Oh, they weren't in field goal range. You punt.
I mean, punt. I'm sorry. You punt. In a game like this, you punt. Then on it was 2nd and 2 or 3, and Max sneaks. Now, everybody's assuming that it was Mac's call, that he did that on his own, but my inside sources are telling me it was a call play. Stupid. I don't care whose decision it was. It was a bad decision.
I agree with the last part there.
Yeah.
I don't care whose call it was. If you sneak, you have to get it.
Right.
2nd and 2, you have to
At
get
least
it
get
easy.
it. Yeah. But I hate that when you have 2nd and very short and you sneak it.
I don't like that when your offense is good.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Let alone when it's bad.
Yeah.
Well, and 2nd and short too is usually a down and distance that you might like to get a little creative, or just to kind of dial something
You're
up.
Midfield,
Absolutely.
So I hated that.
But the 4th and 3 from the 36-yard line, to me, it completely allowed. Now, they got away with it because the Patriots defense just completely suffocated New York. But the only way you were losing that game was a turnover / field position kind of thing, where, the Patriots had a situation where they were punting the ball and they were pinning the Jets inside their 10, getting 3 and outs, getting the ball back around midfield. Just keep doing it.
Why screw that up?
Until you finally score.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you go for a 4th down from the 36, you get stuffed. Now the Jets have 20-plus yards of field position that they didn't have.
That's exactly right. It was 20 yards plus.
We're watching the play right now. It's like, all right, you're going to go for it on 4th down. What are you going to do? Long delay sweep, because that's been working really well.
Yeah. I gave them credit for, I did think they did some different things offensively today and showed some creativity. I gave them credit for that on the good list. But I agree with Fred. I think that was an egregiously bad decision by Bill Belichick to go for it. He's the guy who goes for it
and
on 4th down.
I don't even care about the play, just the decision to go for it.
That could have cost you the game. Now, the Jets, the Patriots offense bailed them out because they completely stuffed the Jets.
I can't separate myself completely. I care about the play, too, because the play call was so horrific. And just it goes against, anybody with any lick of sense watching this team this year saying, like, well, that doesn't work. I know you've been trying it since camp, and it's your shiny new toy that you somehow think is going to be fun. It doesn't work. It's not working. You need to stop doing it. When should you really not do it? On a 4th and 3 that you shouldn't be going for anyway. I mean, I don't know how many times you can double down on the decision and the play call, but it's both. And it starts with the decision. I get it. If you just want to leave it there, fine. But I can't separate the actual play either. I got to tell you, this is really nitpicky. But the dropped interceptions, especially the one from McCourty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
right.
It's right there. It's a veteran player. It's a guy that you expect to be able to.
Oh, just right in the chest.
Yeah, the McCourty one was bad. I cut Jonathan Jones. I assume that's the other one you're talking about?
Jonathan Jones, he was laying out. That'd be a tough catch.
I don't think that's a drop.
No.
The McCourty one was a drop.
That's a drop. I had that on my bad list of just things that really, really bothered me.
I'll throw just Thornton. I mean, everybody, and I know like one fumble that didn't technically count is really probably reason to land on there. But
the more that we all watch that, the more we're like, whoa.
Yeah, and I think it connects for me to the fact that we get all these calls about like get Thornton involved, and it's just disappointing. They're trying to get him involved early, and he puts the ball on the ground, and I mean I think they seem to pull him. So I mean it was a really close play. I'm not sure if that was.
I've seen a couple this year that were called fumbles on plays like that. 2 full steps, a third one really close to hitting the. Maybe not. The third one, that was a fortunate play. That's a touchdown. They're inside the 5.
And it's just the mistakes like this that are going to continue to hurt his development and keep him off the field and, not make them able to say, hey, this kid's starting to make plays. Let's get him more involved now. He's going to continue to be kind of in the middling, area of receivers that aren't really producing.
But, as frustrated as we are, if you're a Jets fan.
Oh, my God.
You have to be killing yourself. I mean, they've got a problem with Zach Wilson. This is a guy after the last game who came out and said, we'll see them in 2 weeks. And then this is what you put up?
I think both teams have the same problem.
But I know. But
they have absolutely no confidence in their quarterback.
But this is what you put up? I mean, he thinks he's good. That's the problem. He thinks he's good.
I don't understand. What's the difference? Like, you can't.
We don't think.
It's 3-3 with 5 seconds left in the game. Like, I don't know how we're, like, puffing our chests out. Like, both have the same problem. They have good defense, no offense. Quarterback can't score.
Well, you don't think if you're a Jets fan, you're frustrated with your quarterback?
Yeah, every bit as frustrated as I am as a Patriots fan right now. Wow. I'm frustrated that I can't move the ball and I can't score points, despite, as Hardy said, taking over at midfield throughout the second half.
Yeah, I really don't take much solace in time of possession or the yards or anything else, because, again, Sosi and Zill were talking about this. The Patriots have outplayed the Jets today. And
they did. The Patriots absolutely outplayed the Jets today.
What
what
does
end?
it matter? What does it matter if you can't convert when you need to and score points? And I'm not going to put him on the bad list, but I'm sorry. Nick Folk missed a couple of field goals today in what was not a driving, howling win.
That's because you don't put Nick Folk on the bad list.
I'm not going to put him on the. Are you going to put him on the bad list?
I would. Yeah, he missed 2 field goals.
I put him on the bad list
in a field goal game.
Put him on the bad list then. But this is like an entirety of the game. You talk about who got outplayed today. Yeah, I guess statistically the Patriots were able to complete more passes and run the ball. But so what? when it comes down to it, you scored 3 points on offense today. 3.
Okay. And you're absolutely right. Coming out of the game, which team should have more hope?
Either.
Just if you got a quarter in your pocket, I'll flip it. Like, I don't have any hope for either team right now. If I'm the Jets, I have no hope.
Wow, I feel.
Well, but let me put it to you this way.
If I'm the Patriots, I have no hope.
The Jets have some degree of hope because they proved that they can show up and beat a team like Buffalo. How much hope do you have that the Patriots can go to Minnesota and win on Thursday night?
Oh, they could do that. But
anything
I don't think
is possible.
Yeah, I just don't have, and you're talking about faith and hope. I don't know how you can come out of that game either side. Maybe Marcus Jones can return one every game. I don't know.
There's evidence that the Jets can beat a real football team because they did. They beat Buffalo. So far, the Patriots haven't done that yet this
honest
year.
Question, honest answer. If let's just say that they go down and the punt return was 3 yards, they go to overtime. What does everybody think the outcome of the game is?
Tie.
So, I mean, I don't know how you can come out of that with any degree of hope.
All 3 in sync.
Like,
harmonize that.
I said about halfway through the third quarter, this game is either going to be decided by A, a blocked punt, or B, a punt return.
Yeah.
I said it about halfway through the third quarter. Someone's going to block a punt or someone's going to return a punt. That's the only way someone's scoring in this game.
Well, that's also because about half the plays in the game were punts. I mean,
right. Again, so because
math.
my quarterback went 23 for 27 and the other quarterback went 9 for 22, I don't care. Neither team moved the ball and neither team scored.
I care.
17 punts.
I think your quarterback was shaky as hell today with those 6 sacks. He cost them points constantly.
Yeah, I don't know what the hope is for. All I'll say is that staring down the barrel of almost losing that game and what the alternative would have been to blow that game, I don't know where the Patriots are headed. I just know.
Oh, I think the season would have ended if they lost.
At least you've got some hope for the next few days to see. All right, we'll see we'll go to Minnesota. Every point you've made about their offense and everything is apt, but it's these are good teams now that they're going to have to play. So there's no more of we were able to not let them get a first down after the second half. Like, you're not going to be able to hold teams like that. So, but considering the alternative, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, do I eliminate their chances to beat Minnesota or Buffalo or Miami or Vegas or Arizona? No, they could win games over those teams. I don't think they'll win enough of them. Not playing. You can't play like this. You can't just try to like play around your quarterback constantly and win. And second and 2 quarterback sneak. And if Fred's telling me now it was a called play, like that's playing around your quarterback. I don't know. That they did what they needed to do to win the game today. I would have done the same thing.
I thought
because I think the only way you were going to lose that game is turning the ball over.
So did you initially think that it was a broken play and Mac just decided to?
No, I thought he just called.
Yeah,
I thought he called his own. That's what I thought.
He just took it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But Freddie's got some inside dope.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it looked like that. I mean, just the way it unfolded, like right there in front of us. I'm like, because I looked at Louth, he said the same thing. He said, "What is that play?" It looked like that was the play.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dumb. I don't know. Injured.
I hate it when they did it when Brady was on the team. Just dumb.
Yeah. But we talked about David Andrews and we talked about Isaiah Wynn. Marcus Jones, apparently.
Apparently
he's okay.
He saved the season, so evidently he's okay.
Magic
it's like
tape.
The Kurt Schilling, they tape up his ankle. They put me in coach. I got one more return in me. He limped onto the field, and 80-plus yards later.
I mean, they are trying to get Smith involved.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
By the way, there were a lot of Jets fans in front of us today, as there normally are. There's pockets of the visiting team section, and it was from a Jets fan because we could identify his voice. He was yelling after another one of the numerous injury timeouts. There was a Jets player down on the field, and you heard this guy specifically say, "Oh God, come on!"
that was us up in the press box too.
I don't know how the game got over as fast
as
it did.
I don't either.
It just seemed like there was there was all punts, all injuries, and the game was delayed.
But it was also it wasn't all running plays.
No.
I don't know.
There were no
there
plays.
was some incompletions.
There were no offensive plays.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how the clock kept running and how it got over as soon as it did.
Oh, let me throw this out there. Thank you to Tom Shaw-Mellers for sending me this. Ian Rappaport says Patriots center David Andrews is feared to have suffered a serious thigh injury that could end his season, source said.
My guess is that he broke his femur.
He'll have more testing done to determine the extent, but not
That's
good
what
news.
I was thinking.
Well, that's what I thought, too. I said it before you even came in, that it looked like a broken leg because the way he couldn't put any weight on it at all. And it looked like maybe that was it.
I mean, that's the most significant bone break you can possibly have.
Believe me, I know a lot about it, and I unfortunately know a lot about it.
What is that rehab like? How long does that take?
It's like a whole year. It's like 6 months. Then, it all depends on what kind of surgery he'll have. Like, for my son, he had to have a plate with 9 screws put in, and it was 9 months. 6 months before you could get that plate out, and then it was another month or so with him not. I think it was 3 more months with no contact. That's a very, very significant injury for anybody. Broken femur. We're speculating. Ian Rappaport says serious thigh injury.
It'd be a torn quad. We speculate.
To me, that's not a serious thigh injury.
Yeah.
Like, serious to me is a broken bone. But
all right, I'm going to grab some calls here. Anybody else have anything? Good, bad, injury? We're going to take a break real quick, says Marie Matt. Let's do that. Let's also thank Cyber Reason, the presenters of the Patriots Postgame Show. Great defenders don't just play on the field. They're also protecting your company and data. Cyber Reason, on a mission to end ransomware and keep your business undefeated against cyber attacks. Learn more at cyberreason.com/ransom.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes cyber reason and cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes cyber reason and cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I mean, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but do you think the offense is going to figure anything out this year?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Wow. Well, you answer your own question there, Deuce. Did they figure out anything today?
It doesn't look like it.
No.
They had a couple new twists, a couple plays. But.
Well, the problem is when the Patriots just lined up, the Jets are just better. Their front is just better. So if the Jets line up in the right, the Patriots aren't going to have success. They had to use a little deception,
especially once it got into Ferentz and that part of it.
Yeah.
Let us go to the phones here. We'll start with I'm going to go with Mika. Could be Micah in Delaware. We'll find out momentarily here on the Patriots Postgame show. How do you pronounce your name?
Hello, person.
It's Micah.
Micah.
Not a big deal.
All right.
Like Parsons.
Like guys.
Like Micah Parsons.
I was just racking my brain watching that game, thinking about things I'd rather do than be watching that football game. I was thinking about listening to Paul talk about his fantasy team.
I don't do that.
Eric do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like anything. But I'm just so happy Marcus Jones pulled it out at the end there because I don't care that we won it all. Just to end the game.
I know. The prospect of a full 10-minute overtime back and punt and punt and punt and
that was such a relief.
Get me out.
But Paul got in a little bit of trouble a couple weeks ago talking about Ramondre Stevenson being the best player on the team, but we'd still have the same record if we didn't have him. And I think this is a great example of that. I think, obviously the stats don't bear it out, but some of the plays that he made, the broken tackles and things that he was able to turn nothing into something, that's really great talent. And it just doesn't matter if that's really the only thing that's going on in the field.
Yeah, and that was, you're right, Micah, because today was a game that kind of illustrated the point. I thought he was really good. But he averaged less than 2 yards a carry.
Right.
He wasn't responsible really for any of their offense, any of their production, because they had no production. So even when you had an individual that played well, it's not really a difference maker, especially at that position. But it doesn't mean he hasn't played well, and I think he's played very well. And I thought Damian Harris gave them a little spark tonight. I thought he was had a little juice to his game.
The thing that
But again, that didn't translate to anything either.
No, it didn't. Micah, thanks for the call. I'll just say this, Paul. While you're watching the game, before you know that they're not going to get into the end zone and they're not going to do anything more than the one field goal offensively, as I was watching the game, I said, if it's not for Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris, they have no offense today. And Stevenson, he caught all 6 balls that were thrown his way. It's not just the rushing and the horrific, average that he put together for the rushing. If you're being honest, you have to say, if it weren't for those 2 guys, it's even more unwatchable than it was. And I'm not giving him credit for having a great offensive day. I'm just saying.
But absolutely, those were the guys. That's why we put him on the good list.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just saying you win the game anyway, is my point.
But the 2 biggest plays were Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, right?
Well, I think it was the 30-yard run by Damian Harris and the 22-yard run by really.
Right.
The Hunter Henry play.
Jonnu Smith had a 26-yard catch.
I tell you, the Hunter Henry reception, I think it was his only target. I know it was his only catch.
One catch, 20 yards.
That was one of the few plays today that looked like offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
play action.
That's what I said about the design. I thought that they at least showed a little creativity today and squeaked some. They leaked some tight ends out into areas where they were able to catch the Jets out of position. Because when they lined up, they couldn't move the ball an inch throughout the day. But they had some chunk plays today. Yeah. It just didn't translate to any points.
Let's go to Eric in New Jersey on the Patriots Postgame show. What's up, Eric?
Hey guys. First question, Deuce. You said you saw Mac make some throws that he hasn't made before. What throws were they? Because I didn't see any of that.
No, I mean, I'm not saying like overall like he's never made throws. He just, to me, on a few of his passes, he looked more comfortable in the pocket than he's looked in the last couple of weeks. I'm not saying all of a sudden he was, making amazing throws that we haven't seen. I just thought he had some plays. He looked a little bit more comfortable to me today overall than he has in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, I got you. And I'm much of a homer. I'm much of a homer as Fred. I won't attack Fred. That's Paul's job. But Mac. The offense. The offense in general. You can throw it all in the same bag. I just don't know how. I've seen enough. There's just no confidence. Watching this game, I was better off watching a high school football game. This was Cam Newton offense-esque. I just don't know how. There's just nothing. Again, you can move the ball in between the hashes. When you get down into that, past the, in the red area, past the 30, it's just pedestrian. At what point, you can't keep hanging your hat on Nick Folk. He's due for a bad game, and whether but even Tom, you got to muscle some balls in there. I know Mac doesn't have the strongest arm, but at some point in your career, you're gonna have to muscle some balls in there. And I just don't know how we take any confidence. How many weeks is this that we keep talking about the offense not scoring, especially getting down in the red area? That at what point is it going to change? And I'll take it off the line, but guys, we got to be realistic here. How are we going to compete with the Bengals? Some of these good teams when we get down into that area, and I just don't see any hope that we can score any points. And I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys.
Well, it's assuming you can get down into that.
They're going to have to figure it out. You're not winning games on punt returns with 5 seconds left every week. It's just
what?
You're going to have to figure out how to move the ball. Yeah. They haven't moved the ball in over a month. This is I think 5 straight games under 300 yards. It's what it is. Yeah. It's what it is. They can't score, and until they figure out how to score, you're not beating any team of any significance.
Let's go to Dave in Chicago, Patriots postgame show. Hi, Dave. What's going on?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Hey.
Hey, so, one of the things, by the way, I love the show and just enjoying it.
Thank you.
I was cracking up earlier when you guys did that thing with the synchronized tie, because me and my buddies were doing the same thing. We're like, how's this game going to end? We're like, tie. We all saw it happening. And but anyway, one of the things that bothered me in this game, it's such a tight game, and you got all this defense holding it down. Nobody's scoring, and Mac Jones is just taking sacks. As soon as they get down to the 20-yard line, it's just like he's giving himself up. I know some of them, he kind of got knocked over by Trent Brown on one of them. But there was one where he just an arm hit him in the leg, and he just fell down.
He needed to throw the ball away. He needed to do the Zach Wilson thing, throw the ball away, and you can kick field goals.
Get the 3 points.
Yes,
right.
I agree with you.
Losing my mind.
They got to the 7. They ended up on the 29.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I was like, just get 3 points. I was like 6-3. That's the final score. If you can get 3, the game's over. I was just so frustrated by that. Another thing kind of cracked me. Have you guys seen that meme lately with LeBron, where he's like predicting the future? He's like, "Oh yeah, I watched the high school tape of like this guy, and I called it right before it happened." That kind of cracked me up when I heard Paul say, I think they're going to have a punt return or like a blocked punt here. That's what's going to end the game. I said it in the third quarter, and then it turns out you were right. Like, did you really say that, or is that a LeBron meme?
Ask Mike.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, you can all feel it. I mean, if it wasn't that, it was going to be.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I was leaning more toward the blocked punt.
Yeah.
Because I actually think a punt return would show skill. And I didn't think there was any skill on display today.
But you like Marcus Jones.
I love Marcus Jones. He's my favorite rookie by far. But I thought it would be a play on special teams or a turnover. But I had mentioned someone's going to block a punt or return a punt, and that's how the game's going to end. I didn't think it was going to be like on the last. I was just saying at some point in the game. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be a walk-off,
3-3 game.
Deshaun Jackson-like,
right.
For the Eagles against the Giants 100 years ago.
In terms of the officiating today, and this didn't have any impact on the game whatsoever, but there were a couple of bad play calls, and you mentioned the, just in the punting game, the roughing the kicker call.
That one was subject for some debate up in our section.
I thought he landed on the guy, and that's a penalty. It's a 5-yard penalty. A 5-yard, not a 15.
Yeah, and the folly of that 4th and 5. How many was it? 3 times?
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
3 times they had to do that play.
We didn't get enough punts today. We needed to get a couple of them replayed.
But watching it on the replay, I thought in no way was that a penalty. Even in today's NFL, I didn't think they got that one correct.
So did you guys talk about the delay of the game?
Yeah, 10 minutes at the start. Power outage in the trucks, I think.
Supposedly there was an accident on Route 1 that caused a power surge.
Yeah,
it affected the CBS truck.
Yeah, we noticed it when we were on the pregame show. The TV went out, and all these TVs went out, and Matt all of a sudden went into like checking buttons mode, But that just knocked us back 10 minutes while they had to reset everything.
Well, actually, just 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. You say surge or an outage?
Yeah.
Serge. No, I like that. All I know is I got a chance to eat a delightful lunch upstairs of quiche and
steak tips.
I didn't have any steak tips. I had a strip of bacon,
bone-in chicken,
and make it downstairs in time for kickoff. So I didn't mind. It was fun. Didn't want to miss a second of that game. I tell you that. Scott in Michigan. Scott on the Patriots postgame show. Hello.
Scott. Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So a lot of the other callers have stolen my thunder here about moving the ball, but I guess I want to ask you guys as analysts, we're all bemoaning the fact, but when it comes to red zone possessions, is it just total system failure, or what's the 1 or 2 issues that's preventing this team from scoring a touchdown?
What are the issues that's preventing them from scoring touchdowns?
What's going on? And you think it's just play calling? Is it lack of execution? Is it all of the above?
Yeah.
They can't score.
Well, it's a combination, and I think the best way to put it is how we discussed it. When they do pick up a big play on a 3rd down, and they get themselves the first thing that seems to happen is either a no gain or a loss of 2 on the very next play, and it puts it's almost this resignation to where, well, we're not going to do it this time either, because now we just pushed ourselves back in the hole. Whatever gains we just picked up, what are this first down, it's going to be squandered. You have that sense watching the game, and it's got to permeate down onto the field. Quite frankly, I don't know how Marcus Jones was able to bust free and go 84 yards, because the whole game had a feeling of it's not happening today, guys. It's just nothing's going to work today. The fact that he busted loose and made it in the end zone
it's a million
is
things,
a miracle.
But to me, the biggest thing is the shorter the field, the more the Patriots' offensive line is overmatched.
Yeah.
They just can't. They can't execute.
Yeah, I mean, and I would build on that and just say I think in the red zone all of the issues come out. So whether it's the play call, whether it's the quarterback play, the tight windows, the confidence that they have within their scheme to throw with anticipation. Also, the lack of downfield explosive scoring plays. I mean, they had a few 20-plus yard plays today, but they're not getting into the end zone. So they're not getting from far distance. And when they get into close distance, everything is sped up. I mean, I talked in the pregame how much time they spend in the red zone, how everything down there, it's such a critical part of the game. So I just think that is what brings out all of their issues. And it's hard to point to just one thing, but everything is on display when they get inside
Next
the 20.
week, indoors,
Nah.
watch.
Oh, everything's going to be fixed?
Yep.
All right.
We're going to get it all done in the next 2 days of practice.
I just don't think their players are good enough. I think it's a simple – like we can talk about the play calling and all we want. I thought there were times where he had plenty of time to look for a guy today and got sacked. I thought there were times where he got sacked immediately. I thought there were times where they had chances to make some yards on running plays, and they didn't. And then, like Fred said, they're just so inconsistent when they get down close and the field gets shorter. I think that's when the other team – today, can we just kind of give the other team a little credit and just say the Jets have a better defense than the Patriots have an offense? Just like the Patriots' defense was better than the Jets' offense.
Right, by far.
Yeah, but I mean, the only thing I point to, though, is like it's one thing to stop them when they get to the red zone. It's the other thing that you're going backwards when you get to the red zone. And I don't really credit the Jets' D with pushing them back. I credit the Patriots with being poor execution, stupid mistakes. Those things are killing them.
Talk to me about Mac Jones staying in the pocket. He loves staying in the pocket for better or worse. Is he unable to roll out and create anything outside of the pocket? Because when he's is that
he
it?
Tried it. He missed Myers. He could have had Myers for a first down, and
he can't throw on the run.
Yeah.
So he can't throw on the run. And by the way, he went down a couple of times easily today. Zach Wilson, yeah, he did throw it away. He went down a couple of times today when he barely got touched.
One time he went really, I think it was one of Dietrich Wise's sacks. I think he basically touched him and he kind of tripped.
Maybe it was a trip, but
no, he didn't get tripped. He just kind of touched him and he tripped over his own feet.
I called it a swipe.
Yeah, yeah. So that was weird. I think both teams are suffering from the same issue right now, that they're working around their quarterbacks.
Right.
And neither team runs the ball well enough to overcome it.
Chris in Scottsdale, where I understand there are a bunch of homes that are going to be running out of water soon. Chris, I hope that's not one of your places or where you live.
Well, let's hope for the best that not happening.
Okay, good.
Hey, Paul, I got a question for you because I feel I'll get the most honest answer.
Hey.
How long is it going to take for Mr. Kraft to say this is enough?
You picked the wrong guy to get an honest answer on this one. In all seriousness, I do not think that we're anywhere close to that. I think if there were signs that he's lost it, losing the locker room, the guys are not respecting him, whatnot, then maybe we could have a conversation that might be a little different. I think there's a chance that Robert Kraft sits and talks to Bill and says, what are we doing in terms of our structure of our coaching staff? I think there's a chance that they might do something like that. I do not think that we're looking at making any kind of a significant change in terms of the head coach.
I'll explain why I posed the question.
It's a very fair question.
Right. Oh, of course. But here's what motivated or sparked the question for me. If you look at it's pretty systemic if you think about it, because we're putting right down from the coaches, like Patricia and Judge and what have you. Obviously that's a train wreck, and everybody predicted that and knew that, which is incredible. That if you and I can do that, Paul and everybody else at the table, obviously Bill should be able to do that. Right? And then if you think about just even the team that we've constructed, most teams in this situation aren't necessarily going to tank per se, but we can't even. I don't know. I'd rather see them not win, which breaks my heart to say it because I'm a massive Patriots fan. But when you're not a good team, you need to position yourself in the draft, right? But then I don't even have any faith at all, not even slightly, in Bill Belichick doing the right thing in the draft.
Well,
I
think that's a little unfair.
If we got the number 5 pick, the guy would trade it down for 2 picks in the first round, number 32 and 31, and then a late 4th.
I'm always amazed at that. And Chris, thank you for the call. I'm not dogging on you because you're hardly alone in this. I'm amazed at people who think, we'll fix it in the draft. How are you going to fix it in the draft? How many impactful players do you think you're going to draft that are going to fix things for you? But what do you mean by next year? No. You'll notice that.
That's what you need to do, though. You need to start they had some contributions from last year's draft. They've had some contributions from this year's draft. Get some contributions from next year's draft. That's how you get out of this. You got to find a way to get some playmakers. Now, it would help if Tyquan Thornton is one of those guys that works out. Right now, he's just kind of meh. He's out there, but he hasn't made much of an impact. But that's what you need. You need to find a way to get more dangerous than what they've been so far.
I guess, but I see other teams doing it by virtue of figuring out the non-existent salary cap and just signing already proven players that can come in and are going to make an impact.
Tough. That's a tough way to do it. No team has ever really been able to do it that way consistently. You get a bump from it like they did 2 years ago. Like they got a bump, but
would you settle for a bump right now as you're looking at a team that doesn't look like it's really, capable of a playoff win for a fourth straight year?
I mean, it's just
I'd take a bump.
Offensively, they have to figure something out. I don't know how these last 7 games are going to go, but they need to change some stuff up. It's hard to see in these 7 games enough happening to prove to you that things can stay vaguely the same going into next year. It does feel like they're going to need significant changes. A lot of free agents at wide receiver. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Mac down the stretch.
All right, let's.
Josh McDaniels is listening to the show, and he's like, "They're 6-4."
What's the score right now? I know. What I wouldn't give.
Yeah. Cousin Patty, what's going on, Pat?
Hey, Paulie, I'm on record this past Thursday on the playbook saying that I thought Marcus Jones was going to break one. Now, granted, I did think it was going to be a 28-23 game, and I didn't think it was going to happen with 5 seconds left in the game. But hey, man, I'll take it.
Sure.
I got a feeling though, just watching this team. I mean, our defense through the stretch run, they're going to keep us in some games, but ultimately, I think our offense is going to end up losing the majority of them because, I mean, just look at what's on the docket. 2 games in Buffalo, Miami. It's going to be a rough go, and today was like eating glass watching this game. It was so tough to watch, but hey, a win's a win, and I'll take it, and that's all I got, guys.
All right, thanks, Pat. I appreciate it. He's on record. He called it.
He did.
Yeah.
I remember his call.
All right, good.
Called it.
Did Spee in Fresno call anything like that? Spee, what's going on?
On behalf of the unwashed masses, Hardy, and with all due respect to Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christian Arcand, it's great having you back, my friend.
Thanks, Spee.
Absolutely. By the way, I actually did call the return for touchdown, and my wife has evidence of it somewhere. But I called her right before it happened, so I'll take my own credit.
Appreciate you. We got you. Confirmed.
I wanted to ask you guys about the coaching. There's 2 specific sort of sequences or plays that were just kind of puzzling to me, and there was redoing the punt after the offsetting penalties with Miles Bryant back there. Like Miles Bryant had done a non-Miles Bryant thing and actually had a decent return, and then Bill's like, no, let's run it back now that we for some reason have him out there. I didn't like that, and the other one was the 2 consecutive run plays, first the 3rd and 7, and then 4th and 3rd, I think, where you're running the ball close to the middle of the field in a game where like field position and picks that they happen, that's going to determine the winner. And I'm just like, that seems like I don't know, kind of a mysterious play call. I wanted your thoughts on all those things.
I'm just trying to remember the Miles Bryant play. I don't know.
It was offsetting penalties though,
and they made him punt it again.
Oh,
so that's not a decision,
right?
Yeah,
but I don't remember Miles Bryant having a good punt return either.
Well, it wasn't terrible. It was like 10 yards.
Oh,
yeah. I think he returned it from I think he was close to midfield after that one, and I don't know, maybe the announcers misled me, but they said it was Bill's choice, and Bill elected to redo it. Maybe
I don't think
no, it was the one I'm thinking of was offsetting penalties, but
yeah.
So that's not, you don't have a choice. Offsetting penalties is you replay the down.
That's what I mean, but I guess I was misled by the
I found it.
I heard that speed. They were wrong.
Yeah, if that's what they said, they were wrong. I agree with Fred.
Okay.
Penalty on Hardy, player out of bounds on kick, offsetting. In force of the 25, no play. Penalty on New England, Jonathan Jones, offensive holding, offsetting. There's no decision to be made there.
What about the running on 4th and 3, like close to midfield?
Oh, I would have punted. That was a major down on my bad list.
We all thought
punt the ball, pin them down inside the 15, and just keep playing field position until you get the ball in field goal range and win that.
See, a lot of people on the blog were saying you got to play the game to win.
That's playing the game to win.
Right. The way you play that game to win was to punt.
Exactly. And so I was just kind of curious, and I'll take it off, like, overall, in light of those and maybe some other, the penalties, the special teams looking spotty toward the beginning of the game. I don't know. What you guys overall thought about the coaching? Is it moving in the right direction? Is it stalled in the same place or going backward? What do you think? I'll take it off.
Yeah, offensively feels like whack-a-mole. I think the penalties are worth highlighting too. I mean, 8-55, Jets only had 3. I mean, it's just sloppy play overall. And one more thing I wanted to just say real quick. Jeff Howe says Patriots OL Isaiah Wynn, who was ruled out today with a foot injury, will also likely miss time, according to a source. More testing to determine the extent of the injury, but he also might be back and be fine by tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. I added that last part.
You got me.
Right.
That'd be right in line with that individual's text. You got me, though, Deuce. Good job. Good job, Deuce.
And
No, but
also,
that's a huge problem.
It's too. I mean, say what you will about Wynn. I mean, it's just a depth issue, at least at this point.
It's
where
a depth
now you're
issue
down
because
to
he lost his job, evidently,
Yeah.
so.
And
I don't know.
to Speed's question about what the announcer said, you can't always trust the announcers either on TV or in stadium. I mean,
Or us.
Oh.
the PA announcer kept referring to tackle by C.J. Mosley today. I don't know if you heard that. Like Sarge.
What was that, our guy? Oh,
Mosley.
it's Sarge inside the building?
Mosley.
Oh, Sarge. Bro.
Mosley. I'm Mosley.
I'm
He
Mosley.
would know that. Oh.
Hey, Agent Foster Grant.
Thanks. I've been looking all over for these, Alonzo.
What the hell are you guys
What are they talking?
Sam, all the way from New Zealand. Sam, what's going on? Thanks for joining us on the Patriots postgame. What do you got, Sam?
Hey guys, how you going?
Good.
Great.
Okay, so I've got 2 queries / questions. The first is, I thought I saw Zappy, which kind of scared me, warming up before the punt return touchdown. He was talking to the coaches. He was all geared up. He was going through plays and stuff like that, and I kind of got the feeling that they may have been thinking about bringing him on.
That's interesting.
Well,
I'd have to try to look at that.
Sam, let me
For
tell
overtime? Is that
I won't.
No,
I
there
won't.
was 25 seconds left.
I won't derail you here, Sam. There was some talk in the booth about the way Mac looked, and he's taken these sacks and he's in the pocket, and there was some discussion as to whether or not he had gotten, I know you can't say
Dinged up?
get your bell rung anymore or get dinged up, but there was some discussion as to whether or not he was operating, on all
With a full
levels
deck,
perfectly.
yeah.
So I have no idea if Zappy was warming up, doing anything other than just staying loose with Mac, which
Interesting.
The other quarterback will oftentimes do. But that's just something maybe to pay attention to here going forward. So, but what was your other query, Sam?
That's very interesting.
I was wondering if McDaniels ends up getting the boot, does he come back?
I don't think he's going to get the boot.
I don't think he's going to get
I
the
don't
boot.
think he's going to get the boot, and I'm not sure he's interested in coming back. But, stranger things have happened.
True enough. Sam, thanks for the call. Breer said it again this week that not only is McDaniels not getting the boot, but he's good for next year too.
Yeah, the money. I mean, a money issue. It always comes back to money, right? And that's what
Right.
it
They're
sounds
going to
like
give.
it
They're
is.
going to give him 2 years.
Yeah.
Right, which I think
they just don't have the
unless there
cash.
is some significant problems in terms of the locker room, I think you can't fire a guy in 1 year unless there's just utter ineptitude. I'm watching the Broncos right now on Red Zone against the Raiders. Nathaniel Hackett looks to me like a guy who's never coached football in his life. If they decide to pull the plug after 1 year, I would understand it.
Like, what are they doing? They're all like, it's clearly short. And Russell Wilson's like, first down, no problem. They're like, you are short, Russell. I mean, I think he gave up the play calling duties this week, too.
He did.
Saw that. No.
Oh, he did. So
it happens.
I do think there's a chance. Oh, wow. Touchdown, Bengals.
I hate the uniforms.
I do, too. I know everybody goes gaga on
hate
Twitter, but just nothing.
Hate
What
'em.
do you think, Freddie?
They're okay.
Just okay?
Yeah, for white on white, they're okay.
But you're
you
you're
don't have to
ill.
wear white on.
And
white.
you're ill. You're not of your right
He'd
mind.
be ill and.
Michelle in South Carolina. Let's do this, Michelle. What do you got?
Yeah, she's lost in the woods. Too.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Do you wish you were lost in the woods for that game?
What?
Do you wish you were lost in the woods during that game? Is what Deuce
Oh, my
wanted to know.
God. I wish I was lost in another country.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was horrible. So, look, Mac is not making me feel any better about him. I understand everybody's calling, and we're all trying to figure out what this offense is becoming, who's the cause of it, who's not the cause of it, and we all know it's a factor of everything, right? I mean, I think. And I called earlier. I asked a question about Matt, and so this is what I'm taking away. There's 2 days to practice. I have not seen anything today. He was in the pocket today where he actually had plenty of time to actually make a decision and not get sacked. That he could have ran out of it, or he could have thrown the ball away, and he didn't do so. Our defense is winning us the games, and that showed you today, 100% right now, is my belief. The second, another thing is when, who was our tight end who caught the ball today? One.
Hunter Henry?
John Henry Smith?
Henry.
Oh.
When he makes a good play, and it's actually great yards after a catch, nice play, it's spread out, you can't tell what they're going to do, and then they go away from it. But, like, the rest of the game, I don't get it.
Well,
then when they get into the red zone, why can't I know it's a shorter field, but I don't get it.
Okay.
I can't understand why the creativity is stunted.
All right, Michelle.
Besides the two coaches who were trying to create it.
Right. Well, thank you for the call, and that's what I think it gets back to is the coaching aspect of it. But to Paul's point earlier, yeah, it's when you get into the red zone, it's not that the defense has a chance to pack things in. Your offensive line can't handle the additional pressure of having a condensed defense in there. This offensive line, so I think that's your easy answer in the red zone in terms of the creativity or the play calling or why they get away from stuff.
One quick thing to add, Bill Belichick press conference said Trent Brown not starting the game was a coaching decision.
Yeah, so I guess Zoe alluded to some sort of
anything.
discipline on the pregame show. I mean, on the broadcast. But he did not mention on the pregame show when we were talking about the various machinations on the offensive line.
Is this the second time we've had a mysterious
By the way, Minnesota's,
See? Oh, they're
high-powered offense is completely doing nothing again, by the way. I know you guys all think that the Vikings are the be-all, end-all. Anyway.
Yeah, Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
What prompted Zoe on the pregame show?
I don't know. I think he was cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
He came in. He came in to chat, as Hardy would say.
Quarterback.
Chin wag. For Zoe.
What was the last game that Minnesota played? Did the quarterback look good at all? Do they have any receivers that did anything?
Did the quarterback look good at all? No.
Justin Jefferson looked good.
That would be a hard no.
You don't think Kirk Cousins looked good in the last Vikings game?
No. He threw two of the most hellacious picks you'll ever see. One right to a guy in stride. Justin Jefferson, he
I didn't
good.
say he played mistake-free.
He good. Justin Jefferson's
very good.
What was the other time this year? I'm blanking. Was it a preseason game? Trent Brown was mysteriously just like not in uniform.
Carolina.
Right.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
But the weird part about this is that whole thing that happened during the week with him maybe not getting the amount of snaps, or maybe he was getting. That to me is part of this equation here.
It's just how bad is it that now you have to lean on Isaiah Wynn, who has been.
I'm telling you, it's a big problem. This O-line.
How much has he run afoul of the team rules or the coach's goodwill? I mean, what do I know, and it's degrees.
And it's such a funny position. I think back in when in college, the coach is sitting you, but then he has to put you in, so you kind of feel look who's playing. I don't know. It's just a strange position. You're trying to make a point, and you're like, crap, we got to put him in now, and he has to play. And how invested is he in playing, and is he kind of frustrated that
and
he
plays
in
well
trouble
and
again?
in the game the coach hugs? I'm proud of you.
I know. I'm glad we got through that together.
Yeah, I'm glad we worked that out.
You guys are funny.
You
come up with these whole scenarios.
Yeah. Call entire conversation.
So we're workshopping.
Yeah.
Shep in D.C. What's going on, Shep?
Hey guys. What's up?
Hey, Shep.
So I understand that the offense is kind of a focal point of the discussion after this game, but I had a quick question about the D-line. It seems like we can get through kind of the opposing offensive line pretty easily, but after that it seems like we're kind of just letting the quarterback run amok, and that either results in them throwing the ball away or a completion, and I feel like a lot of those should be sacked instead. So interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that, and if like other teams kind of deal with that, or do we just have a particularly slow but powerful defensive line?
That's a good question. I mean, they've had some problems with mobile quarterbacks, I think, but
Well,
overall, the pressure's been good. And it's hard to just
I think
put
the
it
pressure's
all
been
on
excellent. I mean, they had
sacks.
4 more sacks today. He scrambled a couple of times, but I don't know. They're among the league leaders in sacks.
I think they've got some different stuff this year. I mean, Mac Wilson is I think he was struggling a little bit at the beginning of the year, but I mean, they just have some new pieces to play with, and I guess that's why.
I expect a bunch of sacks next week too against Kirk Cousins. Doesn't have a lot of mobility.
Oh, that's right. He stinks. He's just.
I didn't say he stinks. I said he doesn't have a lot of mobility.
Did you? You said he wasn't good
last week. I don't think he played very well in that Minnesota game.
Sean,
I'm sorry, in the Buffalo game.
It's a tough critic.
Sean in Austin. What's going on, Sean?
Hey,
you're gonna force
folks,
me
how
to do
you
it,
doing?
Deuce.
You know what? It's killing me. The offense, dude. I'm old. I'm almost 50, and I remember Bledsoe before Brady. And I have to say there's some correlations with Brady. Not Brady. What's it called? Bledsoe.
71.8 rating in that game last week. 71.8. Is that good? Is that good? No.
Well, are we using the ESPN rating? Or
No.
I'm listening
I'm
to
using,
our.
I'm using the passer rating.
I'm trying not to be.
I was nervous in the circus at the
4
time.
sacks,
He
2
looked
interceptions.
He looks like Bledsoe. We never won anything with Bledsoe. He's
Yeah, why would you want to go to a Super Bowl? I get it.
Exactly what I'm saying. Dude.
Right.
Yes.
Bledsoe went to the Super Bowl. Yes. And he won another AFC championship that got you to another Super Bowl.
That's right.
Well, and how did it work out for us?
They won. It worked out very well.
He got traded to Buffalo, and we beat the crap out of him all the time. Oh, no. All I'm saying is I don't know what we need to do.
Yes, the Patriots are better than Buffalo. Yes, you are correct. Good call. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know.
Don't make fun of Drew Bledsoe.
Well, I mean, like we're comparing this to Drew Bledsoe.
Just poke the bear.
I mean, this is what the offense you had when Drew Bledsoe was here on a consistent basis. Every week you couldn't move the ball and score.
Oh.
Is that what they had, Fred? You were here.
400 yards,
Here's
5
my problem.
touchdowns.
I'm trying to reconcile it.
A little bit better.
Is it him or is it what's it called? Patricia.
Patricia.
Yeah.
It's everything.
I love the way you just say Patricia. Good. I love you guys. I moved on.
We love you too, Sean.
And it's the first time I ever got
I'm proud of you.
All right.
I'm proud of you, Sean.
Sean, listen to me. Sean, listen to me. Sean, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Not you too, Sean.
Not you too. Oy.
Oh man, can we break, please?
Oh
no.
There'll be no breaks for you.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Mac.
good grief.
Mac.
All right, let's see if we got some emails here that
So,
we can.
not that we have to turn this into any Fred, you were talking about how the Jets have to be so frustrated, and I totally agree. Some of the stuff coming out of their locker room. I mean, first, Zach Wilson was asked if he felt like he let the defense down. No. Okay, idiot. And then Quincy Wilson, not Quincy Wilson. What's his name? Garrett Wilson.
Oh yeah, I got the quote right here.
Yeah, like
this bleep is not okay. Straight up, it's not okay. How many total yards do we have? 103. That SH is not gonna fly. We got the dudes. It's time to be consistent. It's time to win the games. I think they're
just
searching for answers.
Yeah, and they have to be sitting there kicking themselves. They probably played better than the Patriots in the first game and lost. This game, the Patriots played better than them, and they still lost.
Yeah, I mean, you lost in the last second on
and listen,
return,
the Jets are playing a little bit with house money. They're not ready yet to be, but they were one play away from being 7-3 and tied with everybody else atop the division, and they just couldn't make that play. They couldn't make a play.
They had a terrible loss with Hall going out.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree, Freddie. But still, you really should be able to get more than 100
and
yards.
it's the same thing we say about Mac. It's like Zach.
You really should be able to do a little bit more than that.
It's the same. I said it's the same thing we say about Mac. Like Zach Wilson.
They had more punts than first downs.
I mean, some of those throws too, where he was short hopping them, firing them over guys' heads.
How about the one to Mims? Like there was like a third. It was like a 3rd and 7. It was like kind of a slant, and he just threw it at his feet. Yeah. Like, what do you do? What are we doing?
Bob in New Mexico says, check if you don't believe me, Mac Jones has only 0.2 of a second less in a safe pocket than the average NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think that the pressure. I mean, I know he got sacked 6 more times today. I agree. I don't think. I agree with what Mike was talking about. There were times where he looked comfortable in the pocket and just wasn't throwing the ball.
Look at the first play of the game.
That one he didn't have a lot of time on.
No, but
I will defend him on that one.
No,
it was your play call, Paul.
The play,
that's why I'm taking the blame.
No, but the play was designed to get right out of his hands. It was like a 3-step
And you
drop.
could see him go like that quick, like it's not there.
It was like a 3-step drop. Like
Bob says
something was wrong.
But I think it's easy to just say, well, they got sacked 6 times. They couldn't run the ball. The offensive line sucks. I don't think it was that bad today.
He had 6 opportunities today of more than 4 seconds.
One of them, he had a lot of time to throw and just sailed one way high near the sideline to Aguilar.
Yeah.
The player had no chance.
No. Yeah. Mike Greenberg said, had Zach Wilson played like an NFL quarterback in either game, the Jets would have swept the season series with the Patriots.
I mean, that's accurate.
We're going to hear from Mac.
But if Mac Jones did, they might have blown him out twice.
Yeah. We're going to hear from Mac. We're going to hear from Coach Belichick coming up here on the Patriots Postgame Show. Don't forget about NFL All Day. Your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out and find some moments from all your favorite Patriots players on NFLAllDay.com.
Touchview Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, Touchview also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
That looked like a Patriots play. They had about 3 of those today.
They've had about 3 all year.
All right. You know, like, seriously, when do I have to be the ray of sunshine?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Let's take one phone call before we hear from the head coach here. We'll go to Adam, who is in Dublin. Adam, thanks for joining us on the Patriots Postgame Show. Oh, by the way, Adam, before we get to you, just want to thank Cyber Reason, presenters of the Patriots Postgame Show. Great defenders don't just play in the field. Also protecting your company and data. Cyber Reason, a mission to end ransomware. Keep your business undefeated against cyber attacks. Learn more at cyberreason.com/ransom. Adam, what's going on?
Got to thank Cyber Reason. Got to do it.
Exactly.
Guys, just want to preface this with, it's written, reported that our head coach believes he can win with a top 15 quarterback. And last year we had, give or take, a top 15 quarterback. And I know you guys talked during the week about the conditions of an experiment, the sample sizes, all these things. Right. Well, last year, what are the changes? The quarterback is the same. But this year we've got a different offensive system. We've got a different offensive coaching team. One of our productive receivers, in Kendrick Bourne, is being pulled out of the offense. And our O-line is absolutely useless. I'm not saying Mac Jones has the potential to be a top 10, top 5 NFL quarterback, but it is becoming increasingly impossible to judge him in these conditions as to where his ceiling really is. And I think he's completely been rattled by what's happened this season with the injury, the events of the Chicago game. So I really feel like we're going to be stuck in limbo because you've got to give him at least one full season with some continuity. And I don't disagree with anything that's been said. I'm not a Mac apologist, but we've no idea really where his ceiling is. And I'm not saying his ceiling is extraordinarily high, but he has been given a raw deal this year so far, and he's not coping with it. And if that's the case, how do we trust Bill and this coaching staff if in a year's time they decide he's not the guy to find another guy and not make the same mistakes?
Well, I guess I would agree with you, Adam, in that
The
it's
last
been,
one is much more complicated, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been a rough year for Mac. When you factor in the injury, you factor in the new offensive coordinator, you factor in the change in the offense, and also I don't think he's handled it all that well.
Well, see, that to me is where it falls because, like, what do you think of Brandon Staley? Probably not much, right?
I don't-
What do you think of Zach Taylor?
I don't spend
Probably
a lot
not
of time
much.
thinking about it. Yeah.
No, but I mean, these are like coaches that are just like they're out there, in charge of these young quarterbacks who are finding ways to, like I'm not putting Andy Reid in that because I think Andy Reid's a good coach. I think he has proven with and without Patrick Mahomes that he's going to be productive. I mean, he brought the Donovan McNabb, who I think was kind of average at best, to 4 straight conference title games. But I mean, how is Joe Burrow having success with the support that he has around him? Like,
yeah,
at some point, you gotta figure out a little bit more. Now, I'm not giving up. The injury was huge. I think the injury in Week 3 against Baltimore, like that, kind of derailed his season a little bit. I'm going to give him some time to sort of see if he can figure this out, but. Yeah, I don't like the way that the offense is structured. I think that the caller he mentioned a raw deal. I agree.
Yeah.
I think you got a raw deal in the offseason. Get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it.
I agree with
and
those
produce.
points. Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Keith, by the way, Keith sent an email, said, Paul Perillo, I'm done with Mac the Hack.
Wow.
He says, I don't care how crazy this sounds. I'd rather lose with Bailey Zappi than win with Mac Jones. It's time to go back to the draft, find another quarterback, or sell out for Aaron Rodgers while we develop someone other than Mac that can't hack it Jones.
On the blog, they're calling him Sack Jones.
Sack Jones.
Oh. It's mean.
Yeah.
Mean on that
Very
blog.
mean.
We do like rhymes.
So we got a tweet about the offsetting penalties on the change of possession play, and they said the receiving team can opt to decline the penalty, and then they would have to have the penalty incurred against them. If they did that, I don't know why you would do that.
Right.
Like, so I can decline the penalty and then just move back 10 yards? Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. I have no idea. All right, let's hear from the head coach here after the 10-3 Patriots win over the Jets at Gillette Stadium today. Here is Bill Belichick.
All right, well, great team win for us today. The Jets are tough like they always are. We knew it was going to expected this kind of a game, and they're the best fourth quarter team in football, so we knew it was going to be a battle there all the way to the end. But great ending there with the the punt return. We came close on a couple of punt rushes, blocked a punt last week, so the combination of rushing and returning is a good weapon to have. Obviously a big day for us defensively. 100 yards total offense. It was a great job by the staff, the players, all the units that played: running game, passing game, pass rush, coverage, third down. We played well on defense, as did the Jets, and we moved the ball. We had 300 yards offense, but only 3 points. So did a poor job of finishing our drives, getting the ball in good field position in the scoring range, or getting the ball in the right area into the end zone. So I got to find a way to do that better, but it's good to do it from a win, and quick turnaround here. Get ready for Minnesota, and get ready to go up there and go on Thursday night.
Bill, can you teach a player to become a good punt returner, or do they have to have a certain instinct? And is Marcus Jones possibly one of those players with that kind of an instinct?
Yeah, Marcus is really quick, and I think Troy Brown's done a great job with him. Where Marcus was when he got here and where he is now are they're an ocean apart. And Troy's really done a good job with the ball handling, ball catching, making the first guy miss, ball security, setting up blocks, having vision on the ball, the gunner, playing the wind, so forth. So, Marcus, we didn't feel like he was quite ready at the beginning of the year. We went with Miles. And then as Marcus got better and became more experience and confidence and then perform well, then he's handled all the return game for a number of weeks now. So yeah, certainly there's some innate skill that goes with that. There's certainly a developmental aspect. We saw Edelman, who never returned punts, lead the league in punt returns and be a great punt returner here. Compared to a guy like Troy Brown, who came in as a very good returner and continued to be as good as anybody we've ever had. So, but yeah, Troy's done a tremendous job with Marcus. Marcus has worked hard and he's really improved and he's had a number of big returns for us. But obviously today, going to the house, might have been the first one in the league this year. I don't know, but yeah. So, obviously a huge play in the game and great execution by the punt return team to get Marcus started and then handle Hardy, who's good coverage player, Hardy, Eccles, and Davis, and those three guys make a lot of tackles for the Jets. So if you can get them blocked, get it started, then you at least have a chance. And then he did the rest. So well, he didn't. I mean, there was some other good blocks in there too, but it was good. But our combination of rushes and returns, we try to keep the pressure on their punt team, and that paid off for us today.
Bill, Mack completed, I think, 85% of his passes or so, but obviously, like you mentioned, the offense struggled with points. So how do you kind of evaluate his performance between those two and obviously many other factors?
Well, we'll take a look at the film here and see, but we moved the ball. We had some good plays, but not enough and not enough consistency, and we weren't able to get the ball in the end zone or get the ball close enough, often enough for what our opportunities were. Had too many negative plays, holding penalties, sacks, and that was a combination of things. So we got to do a better job.
Hi, Bill. I know it's probably not the best time for story time, but just a game like that we don't see too often with no offensive touchdowns where a special teams touchdown breaks it at the end. Can you recall a game in your experience where it ended like that in the final minute where offense wasn't happening?
Nope, not off the top of my head. My memory's not that good, so we could probably find one, but yeah.
Connor?
Bill, you mentioned that Marcus got off to a bit of a slow start. What did you see in him at Houston and in the pre-draft process that compelled you to draft him?
He was a good player at Houston.
What specific qualities did you see?
He's fast, he's quick. I mean, he returned punts and kickoffs down there. He also played some offense, he's a converted receiver. So he's an explosive playmaker that ended up moving to defense, played inside, played outside, and returned kicks. So he did all those in college. He was a good player.
Hey, Bill, prior to the punt return for the touchdown, Kyle Duggar came up with a big play there on third down. His game was pretty good today.
Yeah. Again, I thought we played good team defense. We'll have to look at the film and see exactly how each guy did and all that. But yeah, Kyle had a number of good plays that I noticed. Tackles, coverage plays. But there are also some plays where he was able to do his job and help out on somebody else at the same time, and just be a physical presence and a factor in there. Also gave us some plays in the kicking game. So it's good to have Kyle back. We didn't have him in the first game against the Jets, but it's always good to have any of your good players back there, and so having Kyle back was great.
Bill, you guys got into the stadium for the last practice of the week that we had a chance to attend as media, I think, on Friday. And I know the conditions today were not exactly the same, but how helpful was that to be in the stadium, particularly when you look at somebody like Marcus who's got to handle the ball in conditions like he did today?
Right. Yeah, well, it was the Marcus play. It was Jonnu on the squib kick. It was just in general, the balls went to their boundary or their sideline, the Jets sideline, and that's the way we practiced on Friday. The wind was stronger today than it was on Friday, but we had the general idea on Friday about the way the ball was going to go and how we would call certain returns based on whatever the situation was, the distance, the field position, and the wind and so forth. So it kind of did play out. It's not always like that. Sometimes the conditions change from Friday to Sunday and the wind changes direction or velocity or whatever, which it did. The velocity changed today. I'd say the tough thing today was just the gusting, when Nick went out there for his field goal, it was pretty still. And then when he kicked it, it was really gusting up and hit the crossbar and, didn't make it. But, that ball probably, was affected by, I don't know, 5, 6, 8 yards. I don't know, whatever it was, just in that. So it was, good kick, really close, but, just a little bit of a difference there. And kicking into that open end, that's definitely a factor. But yeah, it was good to get in there. Good to get the specialist to kick, and good to get the returners, not just the returners, but the guys blocking to, anticipate the direction of the ball and how the return was going to be set up based on where the wind was going to carry it.
Bill, over here. Trent had started every game for you guys this year at left tackle and wasn't on the injury report this week. What went into the decision to sit him until Isaiah got hurt?
Yeah, it was the coaching decision.
Bill, question about your punting unit. This time you have a new punter, and with this kind of a weather condition, is there any particular adjustment you have to make, especially shifting from Jake to Mike, from a righty to lefty?
Yeah, well, sure. Anytime you change a position like that, there are some adjustments in the punting game, righty to lefty, and just overall timing. Certainly for a snapper like Joe, where you try to put the ball in the right hip for a right punter and left hip for a left-footed punter. It's a little bit of an adjustment there. But then also Michael did the holding on the field goals for Jake, and then Nick did the kickoffs for Jake. So there were multiple adjustments with Jake not available today that both Nick and Michael had to make, and in addition, Joe Cardona. So, the rest of it's everybody else kind of is, their blocking assignments and coverage responsibilities and all that are like all pretty much the same. But certainly the direction of the kick, the hang time of the kick, and the way the ball's kicked, Nick's kickoffs versus Jake's kickoffs, there are definitely some differences there that we had to adjust to. But that's what you have to do. You always want to play into the strength of your specialists, and so that's we try to play into that.
Last question, Bill, do you feel like your offense and Mac are close to a breakthrough of kind of cleaning up some of those mistakes or getting the points that you want, or are you a little concerned that even from this point on it's just going to be a slog and a fight for this offense?
Yeah. Well, again, we moved the ball. We just didn't have enough points, so we got to do a better job of scoring more points when we get down there, and when we get close to scoring points, 30, 35-yard line, all the way to get the ball closer to get some points on the board. So it wasn't like we couldn't move the ball. We had several good opportunities, but we just penalties, negative plays, dropped the ball, missed opportunities. Just have to do a better job there. And again, give the Jets credit. Coach Salah and his staff and their players, they have a really good defense. I mean, we all know that. So, but we're going to see good defenses, for the rest of the year as well. So, we've just got to coach and play better.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. There's your head coach there after today's 10-3 win over the Jets. Do you feel like they moved the ball today? I mean, I know statistically, Mac completed most of his pass attempts today and threw for 246 yards, and there was some offense. But, I mean, just watching the game, did the Patriots move the ball effectively today?
Well, they moved the ball at times. They did.
I didn't. Oops, sorry. I would say that they probably should have had, 9 points, maybe 16, but they didn't move the ball. They had 297 yards of offense for an entire game.
I know.
That's not moving the ball.
They got down to the 7 and they got 0.
Right. That's why I said, add a field goal, somewhere. But to say that they moved the ball,
I don't think Bill believes that.
How many yards of offense did they have?
297.
297.
That's a pathetically low number in an NFL game. Now it pales in comparison to the 100 that the Jets put up.
But I mean, in comparison, last week 203 or 2 weeks ago against the Colts 203, 288 last time against the Jets, 260 versus the Bears.
I think is it 5 in a row or 4 in a row under 300 yards?
4 in a row. They had 399 against the Browns.
400 is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
They've been under 300 4 games in a row.
Yeah, they've only broken 300 yards 4 times this year.
That's really bad.
Yeah, the other 271 against the Dolphins, and just
to somehow for Bill to kind of chalk it up to, well, we dropped a couple of negative plays, and credit to the Jets too. I don't think he believes it, but I shudder to think if he actually believes it. Like, oh no, we're real close because we're moving the ball.
They punted 7 times.
Well, what happened to them happens to bad offenses.
Well, yeah, but there are times when you just find a way to move and you go for it on 4th down. You don't make it, or you get maybe inside the 5, you get a penalty and get put. That's not what happened in this game. Like they weren't on the verge of scoring touchdowns like constantly in this game. The way he's now, I get it. He's trying to prop up his young quarterback, and I understand it, but it's not really the way the game unfolded.
All right,
would you agree?
Yeah.
I would agree. Quick break here. We'll be back to wrap up the Patriots postgame show, brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories made in Mass, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo or family style. Whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I'm a Mac guy in terms of Paul's little poll.
What?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Thank you, NFL All Day. All your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace with thousands of NFL fans, you can use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out. Find some moments from all your favorite Pats players at NFLAllDay.com. Back to the phones. Alex is in California. Alex, thanks for joining us. What do you got? Alex! Going once. Oh, you only get twice.
Good job, Hardy.
No, I see that wasn't me. That was Marie Matt in there having some
You've had a good
fun.
show. You haven't dropped anybody yet.
Making sport of me. Yeah, I haven't. And this is the last call. I'm not going to drop you either. Lewis in Orlando. What do you got, Lewis?
Fellas, I just want to end this show on this note, really. I don't know what's wrong with all Patriot fans, but New England's 6-4. 6-4, and all we do is complain about the offense, about the defense, and all this shenanigans. But look at the Rams. Look at the Cardinals. Go ask Daniels over in Raiders.
What do you care about the Cardinals for? What do you care about the Rams for? Don't you care about your team? Like 6-4 good?
Could you imagine being the Rams sitting there winning the Super Bowl 10 months ago like a bunch of idiots?
Yeah.
That would suck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's complaining about the defense right now.
Not
but,
us.
I mean, the defense is winning you games. I don't know. I haven't really heard much criticism of the defense, personally. The offense, you can't win by scoring 3 points.
New England fans are constantly just complaining about the offense.
Because they're not very good.
Yeah. And also, did you just get here?
I mean, they won 6 Super Bowls. People around here understand what it looks like when you have a team that's capable of winning big. This isn't a team that looks like that offensively. So people are concerned about
I
it.
hear that.
I mean, I think that's all it is. I think people are concerned about the offense.
Yes, I hear you on that. But we've also had offenses, teams that where their offenses weren't as good as their defense, and the defense carries us through the season.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen now.
I don't know. I stay positive. I think that the team is, absolutely we have some work to do on the offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. But, hey, man, 6-4, making our way up there. We got a tough schedule ahead, but go Pats.
Yeah. I'm with you, Lewis. I think that's how you end a post-game show, because I said I wasn't going to qualify the win today, and I'm not going to. They got the win.
I think that if the things that Mac were responsible for were looking okay, people wouldn't be as freaked out. But, because you can fix the other things. But when your quarterback is having trouble, now you're stuck. So everybody was hoping for that second-year progress, and we haven't seen it. That's the big thing.
Right. And not all of it is his fault. I think we all,
like
can
the other
easily
caller
point
said,
certain
it's
things.
tough to judge him in this situation. It really is. Yeah. But there are things that he does that are his responsibility that aren't looking good as well.
Yep. Absolutely. And by the way, I said this going back to last year before we knew that it was going to be Matt Patricia in some dual role as offensive line coach and de facto offensive coordinator. I went back to going back to the last offseason when I was saying, hey, don't automatically chalk up Mac being better next year. That's not an automatic thing for a second-year quarterback. You can either remain stagnant. Sometimes they take a step back in the second year. And I think you're seeing a combination of some bad cards being dealt to him and him not playing very well. It's a 1-2 punch that results in what you saw today.
Yeah, and then you can have both. I mean, that's we spend a lot of our time trying to divide up the blame pie, but you do. And I think if you want to invest in a quarterback long term, you want to believe that. Look, he doesn't have to be. Everybody's not going to be Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, but you want to hope that you have a guy that can overcome some adversity. And I think what we've seen out of Mac over the last calendar year, call it, is a guy that can't really lead a team through the adversity. If it's bad, he's not really able to rise above that yet. So we'll see. It's been a disappointing and tough year for him.
That is going to do it for this Patriots post-game show. I want to thank everybody responsible for this fine program and everyone who called and emailed in. We didn't get to most of the emails today. Got to a lot of them, though, and all the phone calls. So, we do what we can. We're going to see you again very, very shortly, just a few days from now when we will meet.
4 days from right now.
Yeah, meet back here. From right now.
Right now.
We're doing a 6 o'clock pregame on Thanksgiving, 6 p.m. pregame show.
Is that 96 hours? 96 hours.
As the Patriots face off against the Vikings, who I guess I shouldn't be concerned about.
They're getting shut out. How are they getting only a field goal right now? So we'll see.
I didn't say you shouldn't be concerned about it. I just said that Kirk Cousins didn't play very well last week.
And
that's the only thing that I said.
And it looks like multiple facets of the Vikings are not playing very well right now against the Cowboys.
Some might call them a
wacky
house.
Season.
Some might call them a house of cards.
Some might call them a fraud.
They should have lost to your Detroit Lions. They should have lost to the Chicago Bears, but they didn't. What are you going to do?
How did the Lions do today?
They
won.
did winning.
Oh, that's right.
If your coach didn't go for a fourth down from like his own 30, they would have beaten the Vikings too.
Who picked the Lions out of the three of us today?
You did, Rob.
Oh, thank you very much.
Good job, Rob.
Final score for the final time. Jets 3, Patriots 10. That's for you, Paul.
Woof.
Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.